Did you know, since 1985, Crime Stoppers has helped solve close to 8,000 crimes in New Brunswick? Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477 or www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Today is July 24th. The summer is halfway through, and I am your host, Heather Acker, and you are watching What Matters Most. Our TV show is usually about interesting people, fundraising, events, new companies in town, pretty much anything that really deserves some awareness. So today we have a great show for you, so please stay tuned for all of our guests. We go right till 7. So I would like to introduce my first guest. We have Victor, and we have Rosie here from KV Players. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having us. Thanks.
I'm so excited that you are here tonight with us. Usually it's me doing the acting. Maybe it could be you doing the acting. I should pass the show over, right?
Yeah, I can make
You'd be
that
really good
work.
at that.
Improv isn't my specialty.
So can you tell me a little bit about your roles with KV Players?
Right on.
Yeah.
Go first.
Okay, thanks. We're both playing in Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm playing Jesus, and Rosie is playing
Mary Magdalene.
Nice.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful show. My first time really delving into the music of it because it's fully sung,
Okay.
and it's a really. I mean, a lot of people know the story of Jesus right before the deed is done in the end. So it's sort of like the story of his interpersonal relationships leading up to it, it's a very beautiful story, and the way that it's told, all the music, it's awesome.
Okay, very good. Do you want to bend that mic a little closer to you?
Sure.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about what your role is, Rosie?
So my role as Mary is, she's actually a prostitute.
Is she?
She is. And I guess it is important to say that because Jesus is very accepting of her.
Of course, yes.
Where some of the other apostles, specifically Judas, has a problem with that. So part of the story really focuses on Judas and his relationship with Jesus and how he has concerns over the way Jesus is hanging around with me and, maybe spending money places where he should be helping the poor and things like that. So starting to question him and starting to question, is this really the message that you want to, be giving off kind of thing?
Right.
Whereas
Right.
Jesus is like, hey, I love everyone and everyone's special and everyone's equal and those types of things. So
fantastic.
Mary kind of develops strong feelings for Jesus. I've decided to make it more motherly, considering our age difference. But so that she gets to sing some pretty ballads. So,
Awesome.
It's a beautiful role. I'm very pleased to be able to do it.
Excellent. Now, you've been with the KV Players for, is it a year? Or what's the length of time that you've been together? Or actually just
Well, actually,
playing
I've been
with
doing
KV
it
Players.
since, I think 1990.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And I actually did this role in 92.
Is
I
that
did
right?
Mary, yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's kind of come full circle, and you're new to KV Players, I think?
Yeah, I can speak to. I mean, Rosie's voice. I feel like it was like made for the role. The role of Mary Magdalene was like made for Rosie. All the songs are so beautiful. In fact, Mary Magdalene's songs are my favorite in the musical. I don't know how to love him. Everything's all right. Those are, and the way you sing it is so beautiful.
Thank you.
This is actually my first time with the KV Players. I've never done anything with them really. I have friends who have done productions with the KV Players, but I've mainly done stuff with the St. John Theatre Company.
Okay.
I love community theater. I think
Yeah.
it's a beautiful thing to have, especially here in St. John. It's so strong. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the transition from like doing stuff with St. John Theatre Company to KV Players was so seamless. Everybody's so cool, so welcoming,
Excellent.
so warm. It's awesome.
Nice. Can I ask you, like, if somebody wanted to get involved or do some theater, how do you go about it? How did you start? How did you get involved?
I guess my first production was with the St. John Theatre Company with in Sound of Music. That was I think there was like they're usually call outs for auditions, and I guess because St. John is so quite small and tight knit, some people knew that I had done musicals in high school, and they messaged me like saying, "Hey Victor, why don't you audition for this?" So I did, and I guess it was from friends who had, I guess, let me know of it and encouraged me to do it.
Okay.
But usually, I know St. John Theatre Company and KV Players have active social media pages. They put out
Yes.
call-outs for auditions and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Nice. And how about yourself?
Yeah, so it was sort of the same thing. I had been living in Nova Scotia. I was in a rock band for a few years.
Oh,
and
that's
came
very
home.
cool.
Yeah, well, it's not as nice as it sounds, trust me. And my sister-in-law saw, I think it was in the paper, she saw the tryouts for
Oh,
KV
okay.
Players, and she's like, we got to go do, I'm like, I never went to KV High School, I'll feel stupid, I'm not going to know anybody. And she literally dragged me there.
Is that right?
Yeah, and that was my first year. We did Leader of the Pact, and I was hooked after that. It was like,
Wow.
you know, and I did it every year until I had my kids, and then kind of took a long break, and now
Yeah.
back at it. So yeah.
Right. Do you have some favorite shows that you played in that you could talk about?
Well, we were talking about Joseph earlier. Joseph
Yeah.
and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which playing the narrator was so fun. Beautiful, beautiful music. I tend to like shows that don't have dialogues. I don't really consider myself an actor, so if I only have to sing, I'm really happy. I don't have to memorize any lines, and but yeah. So Joseph was good. Big River was a beautiful production.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was that?
That was, gosh, it was in the 90s, but I don't remember
Okay.
the exact year. Yeah.
But they do resurrect the old ones and bring them back. Is
Yeah,
that right? And
sometimes
add
they-
some new
yeah,
flair to it
yeah.
or something?
Especially the favorites, because people want to see them again.
Sure.
Yeah.
So where can we see you? Where can we go see it?
KVHS, Kennewick Gases Valley High School.
Okay.
It's playing next week, actually. Oh my gosh, it's playing next
Don't
week.
say that!
July 30th, 31st, August 1st.
Yes.
And then it's sandwiched actually in the long between the long weekend. And then
Okay.
we have a second show run that happens, I think it's the 7th, 8th, and 9th of August.
7th to the 9th, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where can I get tickets?
They can go right online,
Yeah.
kvplayers.com.
Okay.
It'll take you right to a link to buy tickets right online, and
Is that right?
easy peasy, yeah.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
So where do you, for instance, like this is your first year with KV Players, and you're a strong residency with KV Players, but where do you want to take this, Victor? Because
I'm-
you seem a little bit younger than myself, so you have some years ahead of you for
Yeah.
acting.
Well, personally, I really love community theater. I would never want to stop doing it. Doing stuff with St. John Theatre Company has introduced me to this. I don't know, the idea of you spend like almost every night with this group of people for what, like 2 months or 2 weeks, or
Yeah,
3
yeah.
weeks. But I mean, I love the energy, just the people that are part of it. Where do I want to take this? I just never want to stop doing it. I mean, having done stuff like Elf the musical, I love how or The Wizard of Oz with the St. John Theatre Company before. I love how everyone has this different background, and like all these I guess like barriers between people are kind of eliminated. You have like kids from like elementary school all the way to university. All these different professions. It's great. I never want to stop doing community theater. Yeah.
Right,
So I guess
right.
that's as far as I'll probably take this for myself.
When you see
Awesome.
Victor perform, you'll be surprised that he is kind of a newcomer, because he's very commanding of the stage.
Yes.
Has a wonderful presence, very charismatic, and I think people are going to be super impressed.
Excellent,
thanks, Rosie.
excellent. Now we have some images that that we're showing that were sent through. So there's a picture, I believe, of you on stage, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and who makes all your costumes? Does that local or is that?
Well, the coordinator of the costumes is the mastermind herself, Suzanne Yerxa.
Yeah.
She's pretty amazing. This is my first time working with her, but oh my gosh, I like not to be whatever, but I would die for Suzanne Yerxa.
Is that right?
You worked with her more, so you can
Yes.
speak more to Suzanne. I love
Costumes
her.
are very important to Suzanne, very
Yeah.
important.
Okay.
And she does a great job of it. Yeah.
And I guess with I guess different shows, how many people usually are involved in a play per se? Like, for instance, this one that you're doing is.
Which is probably about 30, I would say.
And that's just the cast.
Yeah.
I mean, like, then you think about, like, the people who are involved, who actually make it happen, like, the nervous system of the show. We're just, like, the skin on top. Like, you have, like, all the muscles and the bones and everything.
Yeah.
The tech crew, the design, all the people who really make it happen.
Right.
Say what, like 60 people in general?
Yeah, probably.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's-
More than that. Yeah.
That's great. Is there a show that you'd like to do moving forward in the future? Is there something
That's
in
a
your
good
mind?
question.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do Les Mis.
Man, I was just
Yeah.
about to
Oh,
say
you were gonna
that.
say that?
Yeah.
Is
My
that
favorite
right?
musical is The Wiz.
The
like
Wiz.
The Wiz,
The
I
Wiz.
love The
That would
Wiz.
be a
It's
good
like
one, too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I love Les Mis too.
Yeah.
Les Miserables.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's one. I think it's one of my favorite musicals
Yeah.
ever.
It's very
Excellent.
meaty. It's got some really good characters and
Yeah.
beautiful music. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow. And so the music, is a lot of it created, is it live music or
Oh, yes,
do you
we'll have
do
an
both?
orchestra. And yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
And what orchestra do you usually work
Well,
with?
you know what? I don't really get involved in that part
Okay,
of it.
that's
I
okay.
don't know who they hire.
That's
but,
our musical mastermind,
Well, of course,
Chris
yeah.
Lane.
Chris
Christopher
Lane will
yeah.
direct the whole thing, and he'll be in the pit for sure with the band, but I'm not sure who the individual, the rest of the band will be.
The group.
But,
Yeah.
A lot of really talented and hardworking local musicians. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris has a wonderful network of a lot of really talented people. We're really lucky.
Oh, yeah. And your shows sell out, do they? Most of the time?
Usually
I
they
think
do.
usually,
Yeah.
yeah.
It runs, was it
Yeah.
run a full week?
It runs 3 days and then long weekend and then
Right.
3 days again.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like not over the long weekend, a break over the long weekend, and then back
Yes,
for 3
thank
days.
you.
So 6 days in total.
6 days,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Very good. That's exhausting.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's
It's
like-
so worth it though. Oh my
the
gosh.
rehearsals
yeah.
are exhausting, not the performance.
No, and
That's the fun part.
Everybody
I
comes
think.
alive at the performance,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Excellent. And do you have any small children that come into the place, or is there anybody in this grouping that?
There will be a short scene with some younger cast. I don't want to give anything away. so-
No,
Yeah.
no. But the age
We'll have
groups
to
are
see.
roughly.
Yes. The age group is, well, this is quite a spectrum. We have
Yeah.
probably the oldest would be close to 70
Oh,
in this
wow.
show. Yeah. And the
Okay.
youngest, like 17, 18, and then.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Excellent.
quite a broad range of talent and years of experience. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Wow. Well, I do hope that lots of people will be watching this and they'll say, because when's it start? What's the date?
July 30th.
Yeah.
July 30th.
Yeah, and then that's the 3-day run, July 30th until August 1st, and then break for the long weekend, and then we have another run August 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I do hope that in a future that we will have you back again, and hopefully we'll be doing Les
Les
Miserables.
Mis.
Oh, yeah, that'd be
Is it
amazing.
Yes.
Les Mis. Absolutely, for sure. So thank you so much for being here with
Thanks
us
for having
today.
us, Heather. It's really nice.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yes.
Awesome. And you, your audience that's sitting at home watching this in the beautiful sunshine of St. John, I hope, we look forward to tuning back in to my next guest coming up. It's
Support your local charities and win great prizes by playing bingo on Rogers TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will endeavor to describe the feeling on this ship.
The American ship is just trailing the Blue Nose.
Angus should never have agreed to this last race. She's too old.
Eddie!
The tops are halyard, Mac! Get to it, Mac!
Appears there's some kind of difficulty.
Seems to be something loose up there, I believe.
The topsail's fouled!
I can't see a man.
Just once more, old girl. And you can rest.
She's holding. She's holding her lead.
Her last race and still undefeated, the Blue Nose out of Lunenburg, Nova Scotia was fastest in the world for almost 20 years.
Looking for the best way to get the Major League Baseball games you want to watch? Rogers Super Sports Pack has you covered. With MLB Extra Innings, you'll have a premium ticket to over 2,000 out-of-market regular season games, with all games available in HD. Don't miss the action from the games you want from both the American and National Leagues. MLB Extra Innings, part of the Super Sports Pack. For only $35.95 a month, Rogers customers get all this for one all-inclusive price. Order using your remote starting on channel 431 or visit Rogers.com today.
Do you have information about a crime that has occurred or is about to occur? This information can help solve crimes, and tipsters always remain anonymous. Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS or www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you very much for staying tuned. And this is now with my second guests, plural, the girls from the SD Art Initiative. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm so glad that you're all here tonight.
Yes.
So we have Lisa, Anna, and Jennifer. Excellent. Of course. So can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now? What program is going on with the SD Art Initiative?
Okay, well, the SD Art Initiative just recently launched a whole new program that we're really, really excited about, and it was a major team effort, so it makes sense that we're all here to talk about it. It's called the 1-for-1 Art Loan.
Okay.
And so what we're doing is students who have created art with us, with our 10-week after-school art program, they're now being young philanthropists, and they are lending their artwork for a year. We're framing it professionally. Businesses are renting it for a year, and then that is paying for tuition of another student to take part in our program. So we call it 1-for-1. For every piece of art hung, a child receives a 10-week after-school art program.
Fantastic. Wow. So who thought up of that idea? Was that just something you girls came up with?
That was a bit of a brainstorm that started with some great ideas and sort of just came through, and then we ran it by a few of our students to see, if they were on board as well. And of course, they're pretty excited about it.
Right.
Yeah, the response has been overwhelming.
Excellent.
So yeah, we've talked to parents, we've talked to our past students who are in grades 3, 4, and 5. They're 8 to 10 years old. And the response has been, oh my gosh, yes, I want to participate in this. They cannot wait to have not only their art framed and put up on a wall for people to admire, but they know that they're giving back and allowing another child to do the same super fun program that they did. So
Nice.
yeah.
Fantastic. So how many pieces of art have you framed thus far? Do you think? Just an estimate's good.
About 30?
30 or more.
30 or more?
30 more. So
Yeah.
that means that 30 or more are being
They're already hung.
hung.
Yes.
And there's 30 students already that are able to go through your
Yeah.
10-week program.
And we're just getting started. Like,
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I want you here.
Yes,
so we can
thank
talk
you.
about this. Anna, do you have any photos or pictures
Of the artwork, yes.
of the art? Let's take a look. So,
So
this is framed, so you can talk
yeah,
about
this is an example.
That's beautiful, by the way. I don't think I could do that.
Isn't that
That's
amazing?
gorgeous.
So this was done by a student in grade 5
Okay.
here in St. John at Island View Elementary School.
Okay.
And her name is Olivia. I happen to really love this one. It's looking for a home, and I know it's going to make a great piece of art when we finally find a home
On
for it.
someone's wall.
So this is available, just FYI. And I was eyeing up the Rogers walls here. I feel like Rogers maybe could use this one. But
Well, definitely with the strawberries.
yeah. So this was done with watercolor. We have a couple other examples. I don't know if we should grab those. Should we?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Do you want Jana?
And you brought a couple of pieces, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Did,
Well, thank you, Anna, for being, you're like the Vanna.
Yeah, I'm the Vanna
Vanna, Vanna.
So this is a pirate ship.
Okay.
And this one is one of our more detailed paintings, and they really had a really fun time with all of those details because they could customize their pirate ship to how they wanted. So some students would add in a mermaid, or they would create their own type of a pirate ship. Some tentacles have been in there before, and it's really fun to watch them do something different with the artwork.
And it's been kind of fun when we've taken this artwork into a sort of more serious office.
Oh, right.
And like, for example, I hung one last week where Anna's talking about tentacles. Well, we had a llama with a top hat and a monocle, and just really funny. And the person that rented it said, like, I just can't wait for people to ask me the story. Like, why do you have this on your wall? And so art is always pretty magical, and it
Yes.
gives you a feeling, but when there's a story about it, it just makes it
even
that much. And
better.
so every piece clearly is going to come with a story.
Yes.
And then to follow up on that, students are also given the opportunity, if it's okay with the business owners, which most of them is, they can come visit their artwork once it's hung.
Oh, that's so nice.
So that level of pride is really great. And then so if
Yeah.
the renter wants to ask them, you know, the story or the details or that sort of thing, they can get a firsthand
Isn't
from the
it?
young artist.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. What a great feeling, right? To see your art framed like that. And they're beautifully framed.
Yeah.
Like really, really lovely.
Well done, yeah.
I know in my day job, my real life, you know, at ConnectionWorks, we had two of them. And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
When they first came in, people were like, oh, that's beautiful. Who
Yeah.
did that? And
Yeah.
I said, somebody that's 9.
Yeah, I know.
And it was amazing because they are beautiful. They're gorgeous. Do you have others that you can show us?
I do.
Okay. So do the students know that they're doing this towards the program?
When
They
they did
do.
them, not
Oh, sorry.
initially.
Yeah.
So these are just pieces that were created, and then we explained to them the idea, and then they could volunteer their pieces. So it's not a mandatory thing. It's for fun. If they want to keep their pieces to them, they can. But it's a loan. So businesses will rent it for a year, and then next year we will come with a new piece. So
Okay.
it's a cyclical thing, and so the students get their artwork back.
Nice.
Because it's a little bit hard to say to a 10-year-old, you know,
Right.
you've worked so hard, we're going to take this, but it's like, no, we're going to put it on show, and,
Right.
then they'll get it back. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
A few different.
I'd be sad to see it go. I'd have
I
to rent it for another
know.
year.
Well, yeah, the
Right?
goal is an annual partnership, so
Right.
renewing the art every year.
Yeah.
So you
we
can
won't
switch
take
it
it
up.
off your wall. We'll just replace it.
Yes.
So it'll always be something new.
I
Yeah,
love
which is
that.
kind of fun
I
too.
love
Yeah.
that. That
Yeah.
is awesome. Oh, you know what? This is a Maud Lewis.
Yes.
Very nice. I'm
So
impressed.
this is,
Good likeness too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this one is really interesting. Our students usually get to do one acrylic painting, and that one's really, really fun for them because it's not something that they're normally used to using. So this one was really fun. They got to do Maud Lewis inspired paintings.
Right.
And that way we
Cute.
get to tie in a little bit of Canadian art history as well, just a little bit.
I love that. Little education too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course
Yeah.
they make them their own, and they all really, we tell the story of Maud Lewis too, and they really like the tiny house and the story, and again, so
Yeah.
it's Maud's story and then their story, and just sort of keep it going. So I say to them, I think Maud would be pretty proud
Oh
that
yes.
they have so many pieces that were inspired by her work.
That's amazing. I know her work is so primitive looking, right? And it is colorful and beautiful. So I love the fact that now do you give it sort of a guidance of today we're working on watercolors or we're going to be working in what type of mediums do you work
Yeah.
in, Jen?
Well, they all get a really nice custom sketchbook with different specialty papers in them. So sometimes we'll use watercolor, acrylic, graphite, oil pastel, so it's all different and they match. And generally we start the same and end different. So we
Okay.
start them on a theme. Generally those are things that the students have asked to do. So llamas, okay, we used that example
Yes.
earlier. We got asked a whole bunch of times from students, can we draw llamas? So if that's what they're into, then that's
Not sure why.
then that's
but-
what we do. So we figured out a way to break down the llama and help them get through it. But then, of course, it's like, well, what do you want yours to look like? And they all look different. So I say, you know, we start the same and we end
Nice.
very different.
Oh, okay. I know there's some pictures. I don't know sure if they're going to be put up quite.
Okay.
They will be put up soon. There's. It was a photo,
Yes.
and you have some photos. I think they'll randomly go through them.
Okay.
Of art being hung.
Yes.
There's a lineup of people. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Sure. So once a renter has a piece up on their wall, generally they're pretty proud of that. So we go and we take a picture of them with their piece. We send that along to the students. You know, this is who has rented your piece. This is where it is.
Yes.
And most of the time we send it with a little plaque, with our 1-for-1 plaque. So
Nice.
that helps explain what it is, because in case somebody isn't, if the renter is not right there to explain how cool the story is and why it's there and how much impact it's having, we have a little bit of a plaque
I love
that goes
that.
with it.
Yeah, because that also puts a lot of the presence of the why you're doing it. And it's such, I mean, yes, it's beautiful and it's a lot of fun, and there's a bit of a catch with hang it for a year, but then you can renew it with a new one, right? But the whole point is that you're helping other children that may not be able to do this.
Yes.
The art program,
Right.
that could inspire to be amazingly, one, artist or just grow
Yeah.
in,
Yeah.
you know, with creativity.
Yeah. That we have no shortage of students that want to take the program. It's our goal is to hang 500 pieces this school year, and I'm sure we can do it. And how powerful will New Brunswick be when they have all these pieces hung all over the province?
That's amazing. So how can people find you girls?
Well, we're posting a lot of our hype about One for One on our Facebook page. So the SD Art Initiative on Facebook, definitely check that out. Follow us, like us. You can see the art we've hung. We're hoping to show a bit of an inventory at some point as well as to what art we have available for renting.
That would be cool to have a catalog of all,
I know,
of all the art
yeah,
that's out.
we just
And
need,
so you could have this next or this next.
Just need a little tech support maybe to get some of that up and running if anyone knows anyone. We also have our website, of course, www.sdart.com, and we could do a /1 number 4 1 ONE number 4 ONE. That's where you can find more info as well. And we are the team that's answering the phone calls.
Excellent.
So if you are giving us a call at, I'll just say the number.
Yes,
but,
506-638-9194.
Yeah, that
is, so we have this old-fashioned thing called a telephone, and we still answer it. So
that's amazing.
So you never know who's going to answer. It'll be one of the three of us. But
if nothing else, send us a Facebook message.
Yes.
We'll get it anytime.
But we'll probably see more about you in going into the offices and businesses and just promoting your program, right? And is it all over? Because I know that the
program
SD
runs,
Art Initiative is...
we're all across New Brunswick.
Okay.
And so we're trying to keep art as close to the school that it came from as possible. So if the piece of art came from a school on the west side of St. John, we'll try and hang it on the west side or as close to, just to keep the connectedness that much more.
Okay, very good.
And just to share a little bit of the impact and sort of the scope of things. So we have 1,200 students per year across New Brunswick that take our after-school art program, and about a third of those are sponsored. So they are from, every different economic background and families who can't necessarily afford extracurricular activities. And so a third of our students are sponsored. There are so many more schools we want to access, but we know that the number of required sponsorships at that school will be very high.
Okay.
So the more art we rent, the more we are able to go into those new schools that we haven't been in before. So it's this is a big part of our organization now. The idea is fresh, but I think it's going to be ongoing. It's here to stay.
Absolutely.
But it's exciting for everyone involved. I mean, the benefits are, number one, if you rent art, you're sponsoring a child to have art education. And art education in our form is super fun, super engaging. It's funny. It's easy to get to. It's with your friends, making new friends, and coming out of it so proud of yourself and excited. So it's not just an art class. It's like, this is the beginning of your life class.
Exactly. And then renters can look at this artwork every single day, walk by, and know what they're supporting.
Awesome. Thank you so much, girls, for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
That's Team Art, or SD Art Initiative.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I hope to have you back. We'll say you got $1 million.
Thank
And
you.
please stay tuned. I'll have Scott Waddell up next.
Hey, it's Chris and Chris from New Brunswick's favorite sports show here, Across the Line, where we talk about everything from local sports across the province, whether it's hockey, baseball, or basketball. Where can we find it, Chris?
Hey, as always, your favorite network, Rogers TV.
At St. John Ambulance, we're all about community. We teach life-saving skills and provide community support through our volunteer services. All St. John Ambulance product sales and training registrations support these important services. Volunteer, donate, or enroll in a program today so we can continue to have an impact on our community. Visit sja.ca to learn more. At St. John Ambulance, we do more than save lives, we change lives.
It's my job to help you become the best version of yourself.
At Family Channel,
you're gonna rock this, all right? Give me hugs. Give me hugs.
Screen Time brings us together.
You guys are gonna be awesome. That was great. I'm so proud of you.
Inspires greatness.
Do you feel like you belong?
I belong now.
And is always just a click away.
You and me, we shake this town.
Family Channel. Screen time that's family time.
Do you have something to share? Let everyone know about your next meeting, your need for volunteers, or your fundraising event on the Rogers TV Community Billboard. Send us your words and we'll bring them to life on Rogers TV and rogerstv.com. When it's time to spread the word, go to rogerstv.com to add your announcement to the Community Billboard.
More than half of tips reported through the Crime Stoppers program are now reported online. Information about unsolved crimes, local advisories, and how to report tips anonymously can be found at www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. I'm now with my third guest for this evening. His name is Scott Waddell. Welcome, Scott.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing pretty
excited to be
good.
here.
I'm excited that you are
Yeah.
It took me a while to get you on this show,
It
but
did,
you
it did.
finally made room in your tough schedule. So.
I did. Well, I work full time, and then I work at the racetrack on the weekends.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So tell us, that's what you're here for today. Is
I am.
You are representing the
Horse Racing New Brunswick.
Horse Racing New Brunswick.
Yeah. So a lot of people may not know, but we race every Saturday at Exhibition Park.
You still
Except for
do.
a few weeks of the summer we're off, but
Yeah.
most every Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock we race out there, and
Okay.
it's a great family event. If people want to come out, watch the races, and try their luck, it only costs a
that
couple dollars to try your luck on the ponies, and it's just a great time. Just a great
Wow.
time. So.
So for people that may not be familiar with what race horsing is, can you give a little description of what you expect to see?
Yeah, well, when they come to the races, as I mentioned, it's a family event. So we race 1 o'clock every Saturday afternoon, and people can come out, stand by the fence. They can bring their kids, and they see these powerful horses each and every week. And it's just so much fun, and a great time.
How many horses do they race at once?
There's about 7 races normally in a card. So
Okay.
there's about 7 races. There's about 6 horses. So there's about 40 or 50 horses race each and every Saturday. So
is that right?
Yeah.
Are the
and you get a
horses a
lot of
certain-
owners. You get a lot of people that are involved.
Right.
And racing is really a die-hard. Like, people come out and support it every week. There's a lot of older generation people there, so we're trying to attract a younger audience and get some more younger people involved. So either to be a horse owner, and I'll tell you a little story about myself. I actually owned a horse.
Oh,
and besides working at Exhibition Park, me and my family, we paid $1,500 for a horse. And we threw $500 in each. It was 3 of us. And he was just 3 years old, and we didn't know what we were getting into, but we had a ball. I mean, it was so much fun, Heather, and we followed this horse around the Maritimes. He raced at different tracks around New Brunswick and PEI and Nova Scotia, and we won 40 some races.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and when we first bought him, he never had won a race, and he won his first 3 or 4 starts. We just had a ball with him. So
that right?
yeah, so it's really something really fun to get involved in if you're looking for something cheap to get into and have some fun with.
Excellent.
Yeah.
What about the crowd that usually comes out? Are you talking like 20 to 80 people, a couple hundred people? What's the max?
I would say there's probably
roughly?
75 to 100, Heather, would be out there on a Saturday. Besides watching the live action there, you can also go up in a building and actually bet on events that are taking place all over Canada,
Really?
all over the U.S. You can wager on them. So a lot of people take part in what's called simulcast wagering.
Okay.
And Horse Racing New Brunswick actually offers simulcast wagering in some teletheaters across the province, so people come out on a nightly basis. It's offered actually 7 days a week, and people come out, try to make a few bucks, and they enjoy it. I mean, once you get horse racing in your blood, it's one of those things that it's hard to get it out. I mean, I've been around the track 30 years myself.
Yeah.
And I started there. You must remember Ian Palmer years ago. He was a legend here in the sporting community.
Yes, he was.
And he was a mentor to me, actually. I grew up, and I've done some track track announcing out there. I've done some, different things out there. So, I'm proud to, still be able to do something, even though it's just part-time. And, we just love to see people come out and enjoy it. It's a sport that, unfortunately is a bit of in a decline, but, we're trying to build it back up and get some young interest. And I think coming on shows like this might help that.
Oh, I guarantee it. We have a great audience that are very supportive.
Yeah.
So it's nice to bring on people that have been with our community for such a long time, right?
Exactly.
And, you probably get people coming in from Sussex and St. Stephen and St. Andrews,
and
all around.
Yeah, we get a lot of people follow our Facebook page. We've got a Facebook page. We've got a Horse Racing New Brunswick website, and you can go on there. It's kind of interactive. You can actually do your own posts. If you're a fan of racing, you can go on and get a conversation started. You can get, try and get some things going on the site and things like that. So, it's a lot of fun.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
Do you have different types of horse racing, or is it one type of horse
No,
racing?
it's called harness racing. So a lot of people would picture, they see the Kentucky Derby, they see some other events going on where, jockeys are sitting on the back.
Yes.
And
because they have a little basket and wheels and that type of thing, right?
Right.
Okay.
And our sport, which is harness racing, is a little different. You actually sit in a jog cart or a racing bike behind the horse.
Okay.
And, and if you ever get the opportunity to sit behind one, it's a lot of fun, because I've had an opportunity to jog horses, train horses, and things like that. So, it's, it almost reminds you of the Ben-Hur type of Chariots of Fire type of thing. It's really fun sport to be involved in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all that, I'm sure it's lots of exercise, but what's involved with training an actual horse?
Well, I'll give you an example. Like, racing is 7 days a week. There's no days off,
No.
Christmas time, anything like
Rain,
that.
snow.
People that look after the horses. There's everybody from the caretakers to the actual people that go to the track to feed horses. There's the actual trainer that has to take the horse out to exercise, like 5 days a week, except for the days that he's racing. And then you get, owners coming and going at the barns all the time, and it's a real fun atmosphere to be involved in. And each and every year we have exhibition week, as you're familiar with here in St. John. We have exhibition each and every year in the city, and horse racing is part of that. And has been for a number of years.
Okay.
It's a tradition, and we've been running horse racing with the exhibition in conjunction with them and supporting the exhibition for a number of years. So again, this year it's taking place towards the end of August, 1st of September, like it always does. Right. And you get some people coming in. I know a lot of people watching are going to be at the exhibition this year, so I invite them to come in and watch some horse racing and have a good time, and maybe even try your luck and make a couple dollars.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the extent of a horse's lifetime for racing?
Yeah, well, typically horses born, they're what is called a yearling, so they'd be a year old to 2 years old.
Yeah.
And then when they're a yearling, they go through what's called a yearling sale, and that's when people like myself will get involved. And you may buy a part of a horse. You could buy him to give to a certain trainer, and they could go on and have a storied racing career. But typically they start racing at 2 years old, and they finish up, I would say, Heather, probably around 10.
Is that
about
right?
10 years old, yeah.
And then they're just
then you get
retired,
some,
are they?
yeah. And it's funny because some horses will go to the Amish people.
Oh, yes.
And have a life after horse racing. And there are some local farms around New Brunswick that take retired horses in.
Yes.
And some of them have a great demeanor, so you're able to ride them afterwards and actually sit on their back and enjoy them that way.
Just in case he hears the start go, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's really.
But I think they enjoy the retirement. They've done the racing thing for so long, and it's nice that they get to graze in the field again and have a nice career. So it's fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is there a certain breed of horse that you particularly fond of?
Well, the racing that we're involved in is standardbreds, and there's been there's been some great stories around St. John, and I'll just give you an example. This year, the St. John Sports Hall of Fame is inducting one of the latest members of the harness racing community, and that's Gilles Barrio. I don't know if you've ever heard of Gilles Barrio, but he's like the Tom Brady of harness racing. He's kind of our perennial star here, and he actually drives the horses.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so he's actually made it a career. And he both trains them and then he drives them. So he's done this for 30-some years of his life, and he's actually represented New Brunswick at different events, and he's actually represented the country back in 2007. He actually won the Canadian Driving Championship, and actually we had a lot of fun with the promo. Actually, at the time, we brought a horse into Harbour Station.
Really?
Yeah, this was back around 2007, 2008. So we actually brought a horse into Harbour Station that people could see a horse up close and personal.
Oh, yeah.
And Gilles was there, the representative of Canada, being from St. John. And yes, it was a fun night. We brought a horse into Harbour Station, and not a lot of people know that. And I don't think it's ever been done anywhere else but at St. John. So.
Oh my gosh, Scott! If I
we
know
can hang our hat in. Hang our hat on.
If I known that, I would have brought a horse on tonight.
Yeah, well, geez.
We have lots of room here.
I know. It's a big studio.
Yep, I've done that with the zoo. I brought in a great big 7-foot boa
for
constrictor,
sure.
laid it on the desk. So next time we'll bring a pony.
Well, there you go.
Oh yes.
There you go.
You mentioned about the exhibition that happens. Is there other big times of the year that you do a larger event?
Well, we normally, Heather, tip off our season probably around the May long weekend, which would be Victoria Day.
Okay.
And then we have long weekends throughout the year. Of course, we have one coming up in August. And then we have one coming up in September with Labor Day. Yes. So we always have holiday racing, and that's been a tradition in New Brunswick, in both St. John, Fredericton, and in fact, we're trying to get a card together for Woodstock this year. Woodstock, New Brunswick has been the site of many horse racing events actually over the years. And we're looking to get Woodstock going again this year, and that's planned, I believe, for August 2nd. So we're looking to put that together.
Wow.
So we run a lot of events all year long.
You do?
Yeah.
Is there horses that come in for certain terms or times from other areas?
Yeah, well, we have a program called the Atlantic Sire Stakes.
Okay.
And what people do when they buy horses, they want to make as much money as they can.
Sure.
So they pay into these stake races, they're called, and they're contested at a number of different tracks, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, and here in New Brunswick. And what happens is they travel all around the Maritimes. And here in St. John, we would host an event probably about 4 or 5 times a year where we get horsemen coming from PEI, Nova Scotia, Ontario. We get a lot of people coming in, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That would be really great. And then to see the conditions here.
Yeah.
And you keep the track really well, right?
Yeah, it's upkept, 7 days a week. Again, with horse racing, there's never a day off. I mean, that's what that's what we're kind of known for is, it's a sport that, goes 7 days a week. And, people that are involved are really passionate about the sport.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
It's actually intriguing. I was there a very long time ago with my grandfather when I was a child.
Okay.
And I completely forgot till we got in touch with each other about the fact that it's still very alive today.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So,
and
awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope that everybody watching will take an opportunity and come out and see you.
Yeah, well, like I say, it's
Horse Racing New Brunswick.
Horse Racing New Brunswick.
Thank you so much, Scott.
All right,
I
you're
appreciate
very welcome.
You being
Thank
here.
you.
And please stay tuned. Our last guest for this evening is coming up, and his name is Josh Lively with Brilliant Labs.
Listen, they never sent us any bloody jeeps, never mind artillery. Stop the Japs! Japs! The Japs are all over us! We're going outside now before they burn the place down! Come on, lads! Osborne, give us some cover!
Sir! He's down, sir! Lawson's down! So's Hennessy!
All right, fix bayonets! We move out of my orders! God, grenade! Grenade! Grenade!
Our troops in Hong Kong were the first Canadians to see combat in the Second World War, and the war's first Victoria Cross for Canada was awarded posthumously to Sergeant Major John Osborne of Winnipeg.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
The shark. More than just a predator. Shark Fest. On now on National Geographic.
Did you know, since 1985, Crime Stoppers has helped solve close to 8,000 crimes in New Brunswick? Crime Stoppers, 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477 or www.crimenb.ca.
Thank you so much for staying tuned for my last and final guest for this evening. I have Josh Lively with me, and he is representing Brilliant Labs.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Josh.
Hey.
So you're wearing the shirt.
Yes, I am. You're representing.
Sporting the Brilliant Labs.
Yep.
There's lots of great news floating around St. John and the surrounding area in New Brunswick about Brilliant Labs. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what is Brilliant Labs for the people who have just maybe heard of it right now?
Yeah, so Brilliant Labs is like a non-for-profit organization, right? And we, I would like to say we specialize in taking kids and youth from elementary school to high school and providing them with technology that they wouldn't have otherwise, right? And that's really big and it's really awesome that we do that stuff. Kids can learn new things. I say coding, that's a big thing, but a lot of kids are into that. Computers, video editing, graphic design, art stuff, anything like that. Kids can really take a talent they didn't know they even had, right? And explore that and expand on that. So
right.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to throw any negativity towards school, because school is very important. But what Brilliant Labs is bringing to the youth is the technology side that's advanced, right? So and I'm only going with what I know. But can you sort of give an idea of the technology or the assets that you have at Brilliant Labs that you can share with the students?
Yeah, so the students, we like to bring things like 3D printers to the schools, little things like that they wouldn't normally have. And I guess a big way to put it, I was talking about it today, it's a growth mindset for a child. So you have the regular school system, right? Which is great and stuff.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But then you have the maker learning, I like to call it the maker learning. It's where you're literally doing it. You know what I mean? You're actually there and you're doing it, and you're using technology and you're learning as you're going, and you don't even realize you're learning. You know what I mean? So let's say a kid is using a 3D printer for the first time, and he designs something himself. He goes into a computer and he designs I don't know, let's say a little box that opens and closes that he can keep some toys in or something.
Sure.
And he 3D prints that, seeing that kid's face,
oh wow,
he's learning, and he doesn't even realize it. You know what I mean? Because he's having so much fun. And that's
awesome.
That's one of the biggest things, the growth mindset. It's showing kids that there's way more that you can actually do in life, I guess. For me, I can relate to it big time. I'm like I said, I'm the content marketer. It's video editing and videography. Yes. I would have had no idea I would be doing this right now, making videos for Brilliant Labs, if it wasn't for Brilliant Labs. They showed me the technology, they provided me with it, and now that's what I'm doing, and that's what we want to do to the kids. It's we can help them grow in something that they wouldn't even have had a chance to even try, because money is an issue, right? So
not everybody can buy a 3D printer.
3D printer, computer,
especially the size of 3D printers that you have, because you have three different. Well, I know I've seen three different sizes of 3D printers, which goes from a small. I don't know why you have all three, but you got three. Which is cool. Another thing that you have is artificial intelligence that you can toy with, right?
Yes.
So video editing, for instance, what your specialty is. So do you help people? Do you teach people?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much my office space. Is that Connection Works, right? So we have a space in there. We have a maker space and an idea center. We can go in more of those a little bit later. But basically what I do is I'm obviously doing promotional material. I'm editing videos, doing demos, hosting demo videos.
Yes.
But also I'm there for anyone who wants support with video editing. We have a couple cameras and a couple mics at the maker space. So anyone that wants to go to the maker space and oh my goodness, I want to learn how to video edit or make videos. We have the video editing software. We have it all, right? So you can go ahead and actually learn that and experience that, right? So
yes, and to top it off, it's free.
That's a big fact, literally.
Right?
Yes.
Like,
That's
who
key.
has the opportunity to be able to contact Brilliant Labs and come and see you?
Yeah.
You will actually train them to use the tools, and they get to take home what they produce or create for free.
Yeah, and it's like,
it's amazing.
It's so big because like we were talking about it today. We had a huge thing, and like the kids are like the future.
Yes.
We need to invest in
Well,
them
they are
now.
the future.
No,
Yes.
they literally are the future. Like kids and the youth, like they're gonna shape everything in the future, and we want to like provide them with the learning opportunities that like they wouldn't normally have. So like it's actually crazy to think. Like, I get emotional because like there was a story that I was shared today about like the kid with shoes. So he was like, he wasn't really good in the normal school system. He was kind of like in and out, like blah blah, and he was really young.
Right.
But I don't want to get the story too wrong, but I'm gonna try to explain it. But he was kind of in and out of the school system, and he was brought to a makerspace, Brilliant Labs makerspace, and he looked around and he saw everyone using all the technology, and he was like holy, like what is going on? And the kid started cutting up his shoe.
Cutting up a shoe?
Yeah, cutting
Why
up
do
his
you do
shoe.
that?
So it's like everyone's like, oh my, the kid's back at it again. Like, what a bad kid, right? And it's like, literally, he turns around and he's like, yo, does anyone know like how I can make a shoe that has motion sensors when it's up near something? And it's like, wait, what? And it's because his grandmother was going, I think it was a little blind or something.
Okay.
And he's like, if I can make her a shoe
Yes.
that has motion sensory near an item,
Yes.
she won't run into things. And like, he actually made it, and like, yeah, I get like teary a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. It's like this kid successfully made a shoe that had that embedded in the shoe. So it's like things like that, little stories like you wouldn't really hear, but that's why us as employees get up in the morning. You know what I mean? It's why we get up and do what we do, because of stories like that and kids like that. That's why we put on summer camps for kids to experience the technology and learn and play games with technology. They don't even realize they're learning, but yeah, it's just awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you're not just serving towards kids. You are opening up Brilliant Labs to even adults
100%.
with, kid at heart.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Or just even fact of, I might need some assistance on how to create a video for maybe a product or just something I want to do just because. So I can still contact Brilliant Labs. So what age groups are you serving right now?
So right now, I'm kind of like more on like, obviously I'm doing the promotional materials,
Sure.
so all of Brilliant Labs, but I specifically am in the Idea Center Makerspace, so that's a high school group of students. So that's a really cool group to target because they don't know what they're going to do with their lives yet.
No.
And I was in that situation. I was in the pilot program for Idea Center. You know a lot about. It's basically a class where they ship all these students to ConnectionWorks at lunchtime, and they can literally pursue a business idea that they have. And I was a part of the pilot program, and I would have had no idea that I'd be video editing, right? Like, I literally had a meeting with Jeff, like the teacher of the Idea Center, Mr. Van Beek. He was like, yo, Jeff's your guy, you need to talk to him. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I talked to him, and like, I showed him what I did, and at the time, I just made little YouTube videos on my own YouTube channel, Josh the Sauce, anyway.
Yes, because you are a YouTube star.
Yeah,
Is that
I guess
right?
so, yeah. Kind of, like, not too big, but like, pretty big. But,
You're pretty big, yeah. They'll say, continue.
But it was like, I was showing him, like, at the time, it was a little channel, like, literally videos I made on a PlayStation. Like, I didn't do anything, and he saw that, and he was like, all right, I'm going to be in touch with you. And then, like, a week later, he emails me. He's like, what do you need? I was like, oh, my. I sent him a little list. He's like, all right, I'm going to get you this. And then, like, a month later, like, a laptop and a camera and, like, a mic. Like literally really expensive stuff. And I, like, literally broke down crying. And it's like, that's another story of, like, why we do what we do, right? So, yeah, big thing. That high school group, like, if that didn't happen to me with Jeff and Brilliant Labs and then partnering with me, I would not be making videos right now. This is not the career path that I would be doing. I'd be doing something else because I wouldn't have known, right? So that's what we want to provide for all students in all age groups.
So when you're out in the, I guess, general public and you're talking to people, do they get inquisitive about it? Like, do you talk about the Brilliant Labs and all the opportunities? Like, how has it affected you personally?
So I guess it's really, like, opened my mind for, like, what you can accomplish. You know what I mean? Like, and, like, you need the recognition and you need that accomplishment. So, like, talking about it, I can talk about the stories with kids and technology and how, like, you can grow and, like, this kid gets recognized. Like, we actually had Rocket Day not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
You might have seen that. We had a Rocket Day. And, like, there's one kid, like, in particular who shot a rocket. And he was so pumped. You know what I mean? So pumped. And I was blessed to be there and be able to film, like, at that event and see, like, first up action of the kids and what they're doing. Like, they're so happy. Like, and they're learning. They're shooting bottle rockets. They built this bottle rocket, aerodynamic stuff, rocket engines, like all this stuff, and they pump it up and they launch it. And they just get so happy. So it's really like, it's almost given me more hope and empowerment, like in myself and the community here in St. John. Like, it's a great community, and it's transforming from the inside, and no one really realizes that yet. But big things planned, like it's
Awesome. So where do you want to see yourself go from here?
Well, I'm at NBCC right now doing marketing, so I have a couple options. If my YouTube channel ever takes off, that would be prime, Josh the Sauce, like I said. But also, I would love to like continue to like market for Brilliant Labs, like create content and show what we do, because a lot of people, you hear Brilliant Labs like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Technology?
It's confusing, right?
Computers?
Maybe it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, not many people understand. So like, for me to be able to like push out to the community and show them what we're doing and show them like how many people that actually affects, it's all the Maritimes, right? We're all across the Maritimes doing this for students. So I would be so down to stay with Brilliant Labs and like continue to like push and grow in the community and like help the Maritimes really flourish, right? Help kids flourish in the future. So
awesome. And what about your YouTube channel, Josh? Josh the Sauce.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested, check that one out. I suggest you do, because you're full of energy.
Thanks.
You do a great job, and I don't know how you. Because when I see you, you're very, you're fun and you're serious, but you have a lot of energy and you come through those videos, which is amazing. So I can see that translate into your Brilliant Labs in your teaching, because you do some instructional teaching too, don't you?
We do a lot of workshops at the Makerspace. So if you want to learn how to video edit, we have video editing workshops. We have 3D printing workshops. We actually have a 3D modeling workshop coming up, which is like
really
3D
cool.
modeling, like art
That's
with 3D.
Cool.
So it's really fun. Like I tend to see myself as an introvert, but like honestly, like it's just when you're having fun and you're doing something you really like to do and you're passionate about it, it's like, man, how can you not be pumped? You know what I mean? How can you not be amped?
Right. Yeah. Well, I can see that you've certainly got your energy from doing stuff that you love to do. Right. So how many staff are there right now?
So we have. It's hard for me to say. There's a lot of staff, but I work with specifically like 4 people and then like 2 other people and like another one, but like there's a lot of staff.
They change over, right?
Yeah. So I talk to a lot of people, but there's so many staff now. Like it started out with 5 years ago. And that was Jeff, one guy. I think it was Jeff. It might be someone else, but one guy. And they were running like crazy, running around trying to do stuff for different schools. And now we have an opportunity where we have like pretty much a headquarters in Fredericton, like with a bunch of people. There's different places all over the Maritimes, like Brilliant Lab staff. So there's a lot of us now. We can delegate tasks. We can.
That's awesome.
And we
skills
need that.
too, right?
Yeah. We can specialize a bunch of people. Like I don't know how to code or program anything. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? I just do videos.
But you know how to do videos really well.
And then my buddy knows how to code, right? So my coworker knows how to do that. So we can collaborate on stuff like that. But
awesome. Well, I do love that you're sporting the whole Brilliant Labs t-shirt. Well, thank you so much for being with me tonight. I hope that lots of people will contact Brilliant Labs on the website and or on the Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh.
No worries.
And thank you to our audience this evening, and thank you to my guests. Thank you to Josh and the girls from SC Art Initiative, and of course Scott Waddell, and of course the KV players. They were here. They're amazing. So go get out and see that show as well. So I would like to wish everyone well and stay out in that sunshine while we have it, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
When you become a Rogers volunteer, it's always an opportunity for everybody to come together and try different things that they've never been able to do before.
What I've learned here is different skills that I thought I would never even be interested in learning.
By being here at Rogers, I can learn all these different things that will help me be stronger.
Working here as a volunteer is a good way to get to know your community. It's a good way to learn how to work as a part of a team.
They're people from our community, so they know and they have a heart for our community to step outside of our comfort zone and do more.
Don't be afraid, because this is where you're going to gain the most valuable experience that you can use in your future.
I encourage everybody to be a volunteer at Rogers TV, because not only do you grow professionally, you grow personally as well.
This is Rogers TV, New Brunswick.
When my legs get stronger, I want to play basketball, volleyball, I want to run. I was sick when I was a little baby. I had meningitis.
Even after they did the amputations, they said that it was likely he would not make it.
To now, you throw him on that bike and off he goes.
My bike helps me get my legs stronger.
Without the ramps, being able to afford his limbs and devices would be difficult.